All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a good one. I'm already blushing already about it. So, today we're doing a video on Analog Horror again, of course. And this one's from the same creator, Dr. Nowhere. And this one's going to be about his whole entire universe of analog horror creatures. Today, we're going to talk about how this universe is practically unsurvivable. So, let's start with the first one. That everyone knows this one, but even so, even if you don't, even if you do, I'm gonna have an image pop up of them. Should be pop up of the boiled one. We all know that one is the boiled one phenomenon. Now this one is a confusing one. I mean, he's a cognito hazard. He's a cognito hazard. If you see him on your TV, it's practically he has already got you, and he talks in a kind of way that if you hear it, then he's on you now. But only you can see him once you're pretty much infested by him or infected by him, and he will paralyze you, and you will be forced to look at him all the time. It's not an instant paralyzation, it's over time. So it happens over the span of maybe days, weeks, months, and every time you try to sleep, you'll see him just watching you. He doesn't attack, from what I've seen. From the videos I've seen, he does not attack you, but he just watches you and you're forced to watch him. Maybe you could look away, but I wouldn't look away. I mean, like he's shown, it has shown. I can't say it's a he or a she, but I'm gonna assume it's a he. It's a male. I'm gonna assume it's a male, and they're just watching you. They just watch you until you eventually just die from either sleep deprivation or starvation or dehydration, one of the two. Now, this one is said to be a demon, but like of course it's never outright confirmed. Like, there's no like lore books on him, but it's assumed it's a demon. The gender assumed to be male, but it can be anyone. It can be each or neither. Its height, it varies. It can change itself. It can change its height at will. Its weight, unknown, but it can probably change that at its will. And here are some of its crimes. Well, if it was charged with its crimes: mass murder, war crimes, physical and psychological torture, stalking, trespassing, abuse, inflicting emotional distress, broadcast intrusion, and conspiracy. Now, of course, we can't charge him. Like we can't bring him into a police station or bring him to a court and charge him with these crimes. But it's basically saying if he was here in the real world, we're able to, somehow contain him. This is what they would be charged with. And his hazard type is a cognito hazard. If you see him on your TV, then it's practically up for you. He already has you. In his appearance, he has like a boiled, like a burnt skin look. Usually super tall. I haven't seen any arms. It looks more like a long torso, legs, and a red boiling head. And in some clips, it has like this super weird infant kind of thing on its stomach, some kind of fetus, something there that resembles a human fetus that's moving around. And that's basically it on the boiled one. Like, I'm not gonna go into deep lore about exactly where it comes from, what it does, and how to counter it if you can counter it. But now we're gonna move on to somewhat different part of the same universe. The next one is also a fan favorite of the series of Doctor Nowhere stuff, called The Locust. Now, I'm pretty sure this one is the one that really popped off for him, like made him explode in popularity, is the Locust. And the species of this creature is, unknown. Its age unknown, but it kind of acts like a child. Its gender or sex is unknown still. Its height probably around 13 feet. Its crimes, if it was charged with any in the real world, of course: attempted murder and man-eating. Implied that we've seen in the videos that it's attacked humans. It's never shown eating a person, but it can be implied that it tries to eat the person or does something to that person. The hazard type, it's a man-eater. It's not like a entity that you can only see through a screen. It's in the physical world, in this fictional world, and it can target people. So it's not some creature only that you can see through a screen. It's a real thing that can charge you or that can find you and hunt you down. And His powers, it doesn't really, you don't know what his powers are, but it should have probably superhuman speed, superhuman in strength, if it's killing people just casually. And its appearance, it's kind of hard to explain its appearance because, like, I have to compare it to something. So it really is a super tall, lanky, black colored.
What?
That sounds super racist, but it's a very tall, black, lanky creature with, it looks like wires in its head, like black wires in its head, and its face is devoid of any emotion. Its mouth has a void. There's a mouth there, of course, but there's no teeth, there's no tongue. It's just a void. Its eyes are the normal void eyes and the horror void eyes. Its appendages, its limbs look more like spikes. They look more like something you get stabbed on than the actual hands. And its first appearance was, like, I think in a video where it's sitting in this room trying to break down the glass. So it's clearly a physical entity that can interact with the world already. Unlike the Boyle one, who has to come through you through a screen or radio, the Locust doesn't need that. The Locust just needs to break through whatever it was captured or whatever it was contained in the first place. It needs to get through that. So once it gets through that, then it can pretty much, kill you. I mean, whatever it does to you. So, like I said, I'm not gonna go into deep lore about this creature because that will make the video like an hour long, just going into detail about every single one of them. But I'm gonna briefly explain each one of them so you have an understanding of like what they can do and what they really like, how they are a threat to you. And this one is intelligent. The Locust is intelligent. He's able to at least type through a laptop to someone else, to have them get on a screen with them. And I guess the Locust can travel through your screen because it was hitting the screen box and trying to get through. And it was typing. Sure, it wasn't normal human typing. It was a lot of random words, or at least saying please, 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 please on repeat. But it at least knew to type, knew how to type, and knew how to communicate with another human, with a human. So it's not a dumb creature. It's not like some mindless creature. It knows how to. It's intelligent, or at least semi-intelligent. So I guess you could outsmart it, but it clearly knows how to talk and how to talk over a electronic device of a person. And once you are dumb enough to actually fall for its tricks, because it's not all that convincing, but it's able just to use blank normal words like please and hello. But once you get it on the camera with you, it can, I guess I'm assuming it can break through your thing and get you. And and you have to just assume it has superhuman abilities, because it wouldn't be much of a threat if it can just get taken down by a gunshot. So now I move on to the next one. The next one is called Guilt, like the emotion Guilt. And take this with a grain of salt. These names aren't canon. Dr. Nowhere hasn't officially said what the names of some of these creatures are, so this is just a name from the wiki I got, or called the Boy. It's called the Boy or Guilt by the wiki, but it's not a canon name, so don't go to him and saying, what does the Guilt do? That's not a canon name that he actually came up with himself. It's just a wiki. So, to his age, it's assumed to be a child based on the video that you have to watch, because I'm not going to explain the videos, each video. So, its age is assumed to be a child, or a little older, like maybe 12, 13. Its gender, pretty much guarantee a male. A sex will guarantee a male. But its height, always tall people, they're always usually tall. 11 feet tall. In its appearance, it resembles SCP-096, and if you don't know what that one looks like, I'm going to show them on screen right now, and I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of the two. So, he looks like that, but maybe slightly shorter, and has a deteriorating jaw, but is not violent towards the person that's at or near. And it's, like I said, super tall, lanky, and what it appears as is possibly the remorse, the physical manifestation of remorse from a parent who either killed their child or abandoned their child. But Guilt doesn't actually outright attack the person at all. But the way this is deadly is because imagine you're a parent or a parent who has regrets. Maybe you had to give up your child to a custody, or like give up custody of your child, or give up your child in general, hand them over to um child protective services. Oh my god, I keep stuttering.
Then I go.
Like child protective services, and you have remorse about that. You have remorse, a lot of remorse about that stuff. So really, you're gonna feel sad, anger at yourself for a long time, and this is pretty much that feeling in a physical form. It's gonna be scary as hell, and depending on your age, you might have a heart attack, which makes it deadly. And you might start having, you might start thinking you're insane, which you very well may be, and that all could lead up to being put in a psych ward, or deleting life on yourself, which is always never a good option, guys. Never a good option. So while this one doesn't actually attack you, it doesn't actively go for you, it doesn't actively try to harm you, its appearance and presence suddenly appearing in your room will cause, not even can, it will cause emotional distress and maybe a heart attack, depending on the person and their conditions beforehand. So on to the next one. The next entity is called the Doctor. Simply the Doctor. Of course, I'm gonna have an image pop up of what they look like on the screen right now. So editing back, go do that for me. Thank you very much. The species is okay. I can't pronounce this. You got to forgive me. I'm gonna butcher this name. A paratyon. A paratyon. Is gender male, sex assumed to be male. That's what we're gonna just assume that just based off how it looks. Usually, no offense, just based off how it looks, we're gonna assume it's a male. Hazard type, a supernatural hazard. It's not like a Cognito one where we have to visually see it, but it's a supernatural one, like how pretty much everything is in this universe. So, the Doctor is a mysterious, malevolent, paranormal entity. Its appearance is a very tall, very, very tall, lanky creature with multiple limbs that they move more like their tentacles than their actual arms. They're very dangly and gangly. It looks like it's wearing like a suit, like a black suit, and it usually is wearing like this kind of plague doctor head. That's how I would describe it. And its fingers are more like claws. They're more like super long sticks for fingers. And while it was never shown outright killing someone or outright even implied to be able or have implied to hurt someone before, what it does is it causes chronic paranoia, disturbing visions, or having disembodied voices in the middle of the night, and hunger for non-human delicacy, which is animals, eating animals and eating other kinds of things that are just not humans. So for a little bit of lore, just so you know, like, I guess where it first appeared, in 1947, when an unnamed individual took a photo of his sister and her family on a plot of a grassland their father owned, a doctor appeared in the image, standing perfectly still. I don't know if it was next to them or far behind them, but clearly visible enough to be able to be seen in the photo. And after the photographer took a picture, and looked at it, afterwards he experienced or explained experiencing a very unsettling feeling around him of paranoia and something else around him. He turned around and he thought he saw him behind him, and the doctor disappeared instantly. If that was a doctor right there, if that was a doctor behind him, of course, it might have not been. So that's basically the doctor. There's no official reports of him killing somebody, but we're gonna have to assume that it probably has, just based off appearance. Like, it's not even like, it doesn't look friendly, doesn't act friendly. It's been shown to just cause bad feelings when it's around or when you spot it. So there's more lore, of course, on the Doctor, but I'm not gonna get into all the characters' lore. That's too much for one video. Maybe in another video I might get onto all their lores, but not this one. This one's just a simple explanation on how each monster that I choose can kill you in this universe. I'm not gonna go over every single one of them because not all of them are actually malevolent. Now this one, I've already been over in another video before, but Father Fester. If you watch my previous video, you know exactly who Father Fester is, but a brief recap on who Father Fester is and why you're not surviving him, and why he actually might be the most deadly one out of this whole bunch. So, Father Fester is a entity like the rest of them. Not nice. He's not a kind entity, but I wouldn't say it's a full-on bad one. It just eats everything around it. What it looks more like a spider. It's said to be around 17 feet tall, assumed to be male. Its age, you can't really define an age on this thing. It doesn't look like it resembles any specific human age group. But if we had to just throw a guess, I would say like an old man. So the appearance has a very wide jaw that's always open, bald head, void eyes, but it still has pupils in those eyes, in those voids. It has like a spider-like body and a lot of limbs. And what it does, it eats souls, it eats emotions, it eats concepts, it eats people, it eats animals, it eats everything. It eats space and time too. So there is no way to stop it from doing what it's doing, but it's not doing it over the span of like a few days. It's doing it over the span of probably a millennia. It's eating slowly, but it's eating surely. So it's guaranteed to eat everything eventually. So that's why you wouldn't survive that one, of course, because you're just gonna eat everything eventually. And it has shown to be able to get into homes. From the photos that I've shown, that you can see yourself, it's seen in homes. It's seen in people's homes. So I don't know how it enters. It could just manifest in there. And if it does, then there's no way to even predict when it's going to show because it can just manifest in your house at any random time. So that's that one. On to the next one. Now, this last one I'm doing is a very, very similar looking one to the Locust. This one is called the Cone Zone, which sounds like a goofy name, but the monster doesn't look goofy at all. It looks a lot scary. So this one, it's very tall like the rest of them. Like they're all super just tall for no reason. They're just super all tall. This one is said to be around 15 feet tall, around possibly around that tall. It could be taller, it could be shorter. Its gender or sex is unknown, but we're gonna say it's a male. Its strength and its skills are manipulation and insanity inducement, which means no, it can cause insanity on you. So while we only see one, or at least I only see one in the images I'm showing, it's implied that there's multiple because it says cone zone plural, so it might be more than there might be more of them around. They're humanoid looking entities. They're very, dark. You can tell they're like the locust. They have a dark body, super tall, lanky, and they have thin limbs, and their heads are pointed, resembling a cone. While they have a white pale face, and their features are always dark. Their features, their eyes and mouths are dark, and their face is always usually a sad expression, but it's hard to tell because they have a void expression. Usually, there's no teeth or tongue. It's just a void behind a mouth, behind a slit. So how they act is they're very deceptive. They like luring their victims into an air of friendliness. So they're most commonly encountered during the 0.1% phenomenon, which is a rare event experienced by individuals admitted to psychiatric wards. So you'd only really find them in there, but even then, it's super rare to find them in there. But when they do, they act friendly. So they often, initiate a conversation. However, talking to them will accelerate someone's descent into madness. So even if you're already going mad, just talking to them will just make it quicker. Or if you're not even mad at all, you're just gonna go into madness. You're just gonna fall into madness talking to them. So their real goals are a mystery, of course. Like they're not gonna sit here and tell you their evil plan. So we don't know what their actual end goal is. But how you survive these guys? They're more of a mental monster. They have physical forms, but they're more of a mental. They rely more on a mental kind of factor. The way you can survive or even counter these guys is perform reality checks. Focus on details in your environment, touch nearby objects, and affirm such things as I am here, I am safe. So, for instance, I don't know, touch your TV, touch your lamp, touch a poster on your wall, and remind yourself that this is here, I am here, I am fine. To keep your own sanity for your own sake. And even if you do all of that and they still pop up, just don't talk to them. Just redirect your attention to something else. Focus on a lamp, focus on anything else but them. Just don't look at them, don't talk to them. And there's no real uh you know uh like there's no real proof that they actually just walk away. If you remember, like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna just eventually disappear. Eventually, they're gonna just leave you alone because you're not talking to them at all. You're not giving them any kind of sense of mind. They'll just leave you alone. So that's a good thing. So that's basically why just even some of these entities can cause you problems in this universe. Living in here will be hell for anybody that's just a normal human. Of course, there's more. There's a lot more entities that I haven't gone over. And it's because some of them are either not malevolent and they're friendly or neutral, or they're just there's too little to even go off of them about, and I have to just assume too much. So thank you all for watching this video. I put a lot of time into editing this. While this is pre-editing pack speaking, but you're gonna see in the final product when it's done editing that I put a lot of editing into this. So whoever watched to the end, thank you very much. This is my my first time talking on YouTube, like on a full mic, because I usually go by text I usually go by text and speech, but it's different now. I want to do actual talking now because I actually have the equipment to do it now. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.